How does one forgive and not forget? We can only forget if you get amnesia, like if you get a knock on their head, like they show in the movies. There's very little chance of you forgetting an intensely impactful emotional event in your life. But if you want to forgive someone who has hurt you, someone who has caused a lot of damage, sometimes irreparable damage, both financial and emotional, you need to learn to look at the event as a learning experience for you. The person who has hurt you may have hurt you intentionally, but forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is about you. You forgive because you don't want to carry somebody else's weight around on your shoulder. Very often when we are hurt because we haven't been paying attention to things that are important. We haven't been noticing the warning signs. We haven't been noticing the little whispers of skepticism, criticism, or a little bit of dangers that has been flashed in our eyes. And then when the whole thing explodes, we are shocked, we are angry, we are aggrieved, we are so frustrated with what has happened that we decide to hate the other person or choose to be emotionally hurt and depressed. We have to understand that we are also contributors to the mess that we are in. So instead of just blaming the other person, because when we are not forgiving, we are only assigning blame. We are only holding the other person responsible and accountable for the state that we are in, which means you're saying that you have no control or we have no control over our emotional space. And that is not a good space to be in. If I am someone who does not know how to control my emotions, then it speaks more about me than about the person who has hurt me emotionally. So when we have to forgive, let's look at what we did to add to the mess. Let's look at what we need to learn from the situation so that we don't repeat it in future. And let's remember that incident, not forget, but let us step away from it without the emotional baggage. The minute you start looking at what your own contribution was, then you're less likely to hate the other person. In moments of hurt, in moments of pain, there are a lot of events where perhaps you are not to blame at all. There are so many tragedies that occur in life. They are unintentional, they are natural. Sometimes they may be intentional, but you have not figured out how you are the victim. So that also requires you to step back and see what are the things that you can do to prevent being the victim, and also acknowledging that life is about tragedy, life is about challenges. Nobody gets into life and has a smooth ride all the way till the end. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are, how beautiful you are, how talented you are. Challenges are part of life. Now you have a choice. Do I want to take the challenge offered to me by someone in the form of hurt and make it into a revengeful mission, a vengeful act for the rest of my life? Or do I want to take the learning, take the happy memories, walk away from it and say that I will only remember the lessons and not dwell on my emotional weakness that allowed me to get hurt from the situation? And yes, for those events which are tragedies where things have happened to you for no fault of your own, recognize that this is also a lesson for you on how to rise above tragedies, that you are far bigger than whatever tragedy has occurred to you. It may sound all very philosophical and out of this world, but we haven't come here to just live our lives, fulfill a few social obligations, and then fall down and die. I'm sure you all realize that we've come through life, to this life, to learn some things through the events happening. So if you acknowledge that reality, then you will stop looking at the source of hurt as the attacker and you as the victim. Rather, you will start looking at the source of hurt as the teacher and you as the student. And as every academic situation states, the faster you learn, the sooner you'll pass and get out of the situation. The longer you take to learn, the more you have to repeat the lessons, which means similar hurts are waiting for you in future. Learn the lesson, forget the emotion or detach yourself from the emotion. Take the help of a therapist to help you do that. Remember the lesson always and let that person go away from your life to keep you safe and intact in the future.